it's react time. So I think I'm gonna start off with a little bit of revs. Could do some revs. And I've heard a little bit about this. I kind of wish I didn't, but I did hear a little bit about it. So, I mean, God knows this because it's about this girl. You know, it's about Amanda, and I kind of know a little bit of something she did, but I'm wondering if she did more than I know of. So, Rev, my faith in humanity is in your hands once again. Please, good sir, crush it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here. So
I
today we're going to be talking about
read.
Star Wars The Acolyte. This is an ongoing series a lot of people have dubbed Wokealite because they believe this is the embodiment of Disney's DEI initiatives. It seems like every single choice behind this show is the result of some kind of agenda that they're trying to push. And these
Yeah.
observations have been reflected in the audience reviews because this series is getting review bombed hard by fans.
Tysel, I actually. Oh, and hi, Corey. Hi. Tysel, I don't watch Neurotic because he is 100% not objective. He is so slanted in what he does in his reviews. I've tried to watch him before, and he's just like you know how I've talked about how people like put a left and a right, like a massive, like a left or right slant on how they view things? He puts a massive right slant on it. So Rev is opinionated, but but Rev keeps it very even keel. He has an opinion based upon logical thinking, where it's not based upon a political slant of one way or the other. He just looks at something like this logically does or does not make sense. So, and oh, thank you, X2 Striker. Thank you for the follow. Oh, and apparently I've met a follower goal that I didn't even realize was present. So, yay! Anyway, so yeah, Rev looks at things from a more logical standpoint versus any kind of left or right leaning viewpoint. Which is why I really like watching his stuff, is because he looks things dead on in a logical sense. Okay. Yeah, well, I haven't really watched his live streams, so I'm not gonna comment on those. But I'm, just on his news videos.
Now, we have an unprecedented response to this criticism. So, the star of The Acolyte, Amanda Stenberg, has made a response. And a response that, as this
It
article
should be
points
good.
out, is an industry first. She made a music video and a company song that is roasting her own fans and dismissing all criticism as racism. Yes, this is
uh,
happening while the show is ongoing, and the result of this has been quite horrible. But before we get into her absolute masterpiece of a music video, let's talk about
you say I think you misused. I think you put a wrong letter in there. You want to try it again? Need to try it again? Well, thank you, X2. I'm glad you liked the video, and thank you for joining the stream. And hope you have a fun time here. And very good, lurker. Very good. You caught on. Yeah, and I'm sure, Rook, this probably won't end well. I've seen fragments. I don't know how much she's gonna show. I've seen fragments of this dance. Okay. All right, Corey.
The Acolyte for a second. So, as soon as this was announced, it became very clear to many that this was heading in a certain direction. Looking at the trailer alone, you can see the like-dislike ratio. It is abysmal. To many, they looked at this 2-minute trailer and they saw a great departure from everything that Star Wars is about. And since the series has premiered and is ongoing, people have made observations like this. And a word I've seen over and over again in these reviews is vandalism. A lot of people consider The Acolyte to be vandalism of the franchise. This is not.
And that's not a bad take either. Um, to basically call it vandalizing Star Wars, that's honestly not a terrible take because okay, now Tysell, I'm gonna correct you on that. It was not Star Wars that started doing it. It was Disney that started doing it. We need to make that very, very clear. It was Disney that did it. And then with Lord of the Rings, it was Amazon that did it. Because to say Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, that's to indicate that this was happening before these two corporations got their hands on it. It was only after Disney got its hand on Star Wars and Amazon got its hands on Lord of the Rings. That's when they started basically saying, hey, we're going to attack our fans if they don't bow down and kiss our feet for putting out these quote unquote masterpieces of cinema. It's not working out too well for them, is it? Because last I heard, Acolyte's ratings are still in the toilet. The Rings of Power did absolute shit. Per streaming numbers, too. I've heard it was received very poorly. Um, it's not only attacking the fans. It's not only attacking the fans. It's labeling the fans who say I don't like this, but just literally just simply saying I don't like this. But for these studios and these actors and these directors to take that simple I just don't like this and say, well, if you don't like this, you are an ist, you are a fool, you are some, you know, derogatory slur that once upon a time actually meant something but means absolutely nothing now. So, uh oh, you mean when J.J. Abrams redid Star J.J. Abrams didn't do Star Trek Discovery, did he? Or was it his company that did Star Trek? No, because that was Paramount. Was it Bad Robot that did Discovery? I don't know. Star Trek Discovery wasn't all that well liked either. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, it's like and that's the crux of it is when with these corporations and these Hollywood studios, it's not simply that they're the problem is that even if when the majority is fans, when the majority of the audience, when the majority of their paying customers is saying, I just don't like this, I don't think it's good, and that's all they say, they're instantly labeled as misogynist, racist, homophobic, etc., etc., etc. No fucking wonder people are turning away. It's like, wait a minute, I can't not like something without being labeled as like a racist? Well, fuck you then. You don't get my money anymore. That's why they're losing money hand over fist.
Not an open love letter to the fans. This is something that is a big middle finger to the fans and everything this franchise is about. It's not just the middle finger, it is a judgmental one that is trying to push an agenda on you. This is a great departure from everything that fans have expected at this point, and people do not like it, and that's very understandable. And when it comes to the actual series itself, it seems like it is the product of nothing but DEI. That seems to be the entire source of everything going on with this series. And it's to the point where it's like we're living in a South Park parody,
Yeah.
okay? This episode from South Park came out a few months.
Well, yeah, that's the funny part. When South Park came out with this parody, Disney just whined and said, "Oh, where South Park is making fun of us. Where we're oppressed. South Park is making fun of us. Where," instead of going, wow, a lot of people are actually watching the South Park episode and going, yeah, you're 100% fucking right. Maybe we should change something. But yeah, South Park makes fun of everybody, but when this South Park episode came out, I'd say almost 100% of its audience, which is significant, mind you, went, holy shit, this is like true to life. And Disney didn't look at that and go, oh shit, we should probably make a change. Nope, they leaned into it and said, yeah, we're gonna go even further.
Months ago, but honestly, I don't even think it went far enough, okay? the reality we're living in is actually even crazier. Here is the plot line of episode 3. Spoiler alert in case you were waiting on this, but here's a real headline. The Acolyte makes massive retcon to Star Wars lore, reveals
Ouch,
lesbian
Lurker.
space
Ouch.
witches created life from the Force. Well, I mean, I guess if you create enough friction, you might get fire, but yeah, they're literally saying we don't need men anymore. How does that make you feel? A massive retcon that makes no sense in terms of the story that ends up with men being useless. Like, they don't need.
And plus, like, this part I didn't know, but apparently Plagueis tried to create life, and the Force actually said, go fuck yourself. You want to try and create life, you're going to try and create the ultimate, you're going to try and create, like, the ultimate Sith. Guess what? That ultimate Sith you're creating is going to be what destroys you in the end, is what I have learned. I didn't know that because I didn't keep up on that, but yeah, like he did it, but the Force basement said, okay, we'll let you do this, and guess what? It's gonna destroy you, but we're not gonna tell you that. So yeah, and so it's like this show is trying to retcon a lot of things. Like I heard the latest episode had a character in it that wasn't even born yet in canon. In so like Disney is trying to decanonize so much because they want to recreate their own image. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This is it's Kathleen Kennedy made it known from the very beginning. Star Wars is all about the ladies now. They don't want a male audience. They just want a female audience. Star Wars is now a girl's product. It's Star Wars is no longer a boy's product. Not I don't know. I don't think it was Plu. It was the one with the cone head. That's the one I'm talking about. That wasn't Plu. That was someone else. Well, I'm glad I was able to inspire you, Ace. Just made a different show. Oh wait, yeah, well, yeah, that's it. I mean, this is probably a very good example of they wanted to tell their own story and they're piggyback. Yes, Ki Adi Mundi. Yes, that's who it is. Lurker. Yes, but like they wanted like this was Leslie Headland basically wanting to do a self insert and just piggybacking off of the Star Wars franchise to basically inject her story into a major franchise. That's it. I mean, this shouldn't have been a Star Wars story. It shouldn't have, because not one bit of it makes any goddamn sense. Yep.
Need men no more. It's absolutely insane. Only Disney and DEI could make the concept of lesbian space witches something so unappealing to men. It's actually impressive how bad it is, but
It's
overall,
not
beyond
wrong
just that
there,
episode.
too. Like, if you think about it, lesbian space witches should be a huge fucking draw for the male audience. Let's be honest, men of the chat. Well, many of you, if it was not Star Wars, if it had not been Star Wars, and you were just told that there was going to be a sci-fi show about lesbian space witches, would you not be like, hell yeah, brother, I'm gonna go watch that? Tell me you would not immediately like, hell yeah, I want to see that because I want to see some sexy lesbian action. I mean, if it was not attached to Star Wars, you'd be there in a heartbeat. The fact that it got attached to Star Wars, that was a point of that was a point against them right there because Star Wars has developed such a colossally bad reputation, and then Leslie Headland just took that and ran with it into the ground. Yeah,
So the entire series so far has been a dumpster fire, putting it lightly.
yep,
Now,
it's
critics have been
Disney.
praising this as stunning and brave, of course, but the audience score on places like Rotten Tomatoes is abysmal. 14%
Rook.
is where it currently
Now,
stands. However, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Disney, the Acolyte, everyone behind it, they messed up. It's their fault. Well, you would be wrong, you bigot. It's actually the audience's fault. It's your fault that this
Hell yeah.
series is failing. And that's what journalists are trying to push right now. You can see
Yep.
this article from Forbes saying this. The Acolyte's 15% audience score is embarrassing for you, the audience. That is absolutely a very...
Yeah, the mainstream journalists that want to keep that Disney access, they are simping so fucking hard for Disney right now. It's pathetic. I saw this article and this is just so pathetic. It reminds you of getting called bad guys from World War II for saying The Last Jedi. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's where it started. This started with The Last Jedi. Like The Force Awakens was a lot of people criticize it for being basically a rehash of episode 4. But The Last Jedi, when The Last Jedi came out, people were like, this is fucking garbage. And that's when all of the Istanphobe name calling started from coming from Disney. And they steamrolled with it. Like that became the main talking point for Disney. That's what I'm saying, Tusso. It was a rehash of episode 4 New Hope. That's what it was. And it was and it was okay. Like The Force Awakens was okay. That's all I'll give it, is okay. And then The Last Jedi hit, and then shit hit the fan and hasn't stopped flying since. Yep.
brave take right there. Literally saying it's your fault that a Disney show is failing
Yeah.
because
When a
you're
movie studio
criticizing
blames
it
its
and not
fans,
liking how
that's
it's
when it
turning out.
fails.
Absolutely insane. And on top of that, a lot of these
Yeah,
journalists have been pushing the narrative
it's why people don't
that
trust the news,
basically
Walt.
these Star Wars fans are threatened by a female lead, which couldn't be any further from the truth. You can compare The Acolyte with its 14% audience score to a completely flipped score for Rogue One. And also keep in mind,
Let's see what he says.
Rogue One came out in 2016 versus The Acolyte in 2024, and that definitely does make a difference if you know kind of...
And I will say, Rogue One also, I would only classify it as okay. I actually got kind of bored with Rogue One. I watched Rogue One, and I honestly got bored from it. I did not find it all that great. It was okay. They had some cool set pieces like the beach combat and the space combat was cool. It was just yeah, it was yeah. Uh, 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 God, what Donnie Yen? Yeah, Donnie Yen was great. His monk and his like assault sidekick were like they were the two of them and K2SO. Those were the three best characters in that whole movie. K2SO was fucking great. I loved him. But I mean, he was voiced by the great by the great Alan Tudyk. So of course he was great. So yeah.
Be the series of events and how people have viewed female leads in stories like Star Wars. But yeah, that just kind of dismantles any claims like that. And also, if you look around right now at other series that are
Well, yeah.
actively running, you look at the season 2 of House of the Dragon. That one
I
is
did say-
absolutely crushing it.
Tysell, I did say Alan. I corrected myself. I started to say Stanley Tucci, and then I corrected myself to say it was Alan Tudyk.
A strong female presence in that show. What's the excuse now? But anyways, they're gonna keep trying.
No,
Here's
Potato,
another
you're
headline saying
thinking
Star
of the
Wars
Magnificent
toxic
Seven.
fans.
Yeah, Potato, you're thinking of the Magnificent Seven, and I'm guessing it probably drew a tiny bit of inspiration from it, but that would be all.
Keep proving they're the franchise's biggest problem. That's right. The fans are the problem. That is the narrative they're going with, and they're pushing real hard on this one. But speaking of toxicity, let's focus on the main character and the actress behind her, the one that is causing so much controversy. So here is Amandla Stenberg. A lot of people are criticizing her performance because, as you can see, she has quite the range when it comes to her acting and some of the emotions she's portraying through this character. But this is what we're focusing on today. This has been making headlines all over the place. This is absolutely
Honestly, Dusty's right. Disney needs to stop making Star Wars movies for, at minimum, they need to stop with any Star Wars franchise, any Star Wars project for at least the next 5 years. Star Wars needs to be untouched for at least 5 years. At least. Because, give people a chance to get away from it. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, who, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name, Potato. Yeah, her acting is not great either.
insane. So in the past, there's a lot of clips of Amandla saying some disparaging things about many different people, including potential Star Wars fans and alike. But this headline is unbelievable. So the
Hard to believe,
Acolyte's
huh? That's
star,
yourself?
Amandla Stenberg, releases song responding to fan backlash. In what's likely an industry first, I wonder why it's an industry first, a TV show star has written and released a song and music video
How
complete
many
with
of you
dance
guys have
moves
seen this
in
music video?
response to racist backlash against the show. This show is still ongoing, and she just made a diss track on Star Wars fans. Tell me
No, Red. Wrong letter. Replace the D with something else, Red. Replace the D with something else.
how out of touch these people are. And for the video itself, my God, is it a dumpster fire. Now, this video itself is scattered all over the internet. It's like
Oh
whack-a-mole right
boy.
now with Disney and her team. Basically, you upload this, there's a good chance it's going to get striked down or removed or claimed, what have you, and then it pops
Really?
up somewhere else. Here's one of the latest renditions from It's a Gundam here, and this caption really hits the nail on the head in terms
Oh shit. Here we go again.
of the theme we're looking at today. It says, yes, the privileged Hollywood actress with $1 billion company behind her is the revolutionary. That's kind of the message
Uh-huh.
she's trying in this video. And as you can see, she talks a lot about how she is a struggling black woman and how white people are all doing all these bad things. And then here's her and her father, who's also a member of the industry. She's quite literally the product of nepotism. But on top of that, I regret to inform you guys, I can't really show you the video. Yes, I know. You're really missing out on the 20 or 30-second portion of the video where she just simply twerks with the chorus saying over and over again, I don't F with your discourse. We're tired of your discourse. But yeah, there's a reason I'm not playing that. And it's because, well, they're
Wow.
going around claiming and striking down videos like
Holy
Craig is pointing out here. YouTube videos getting hit and the monetization is getting taken away. And her team or herself are confirming these claims and basically saying now you have to go threaten legal action, and nobody wants to do that. And also, I think this is like a 5D chess move where she made this terrible music video, now is trying to claim all the videos and revenue that are making fun of her. But here's the video, okay? I can give you some of the lyrics. I can't play it, but I can read some of the lyrics, and they're really touching. This section in particular is great.
Okay.
So after the chorus where she says, we so bored, don't F with yo discourse over and over again while twerking, she says this verse.
And I've seen the dancing that she does that he's calling twerking. That's not even twerking. That's just, she's like, it's like spazzing out. She's just like spazzing out on camera, calling it dancing. It's what I might do is, well, okay, I'll let Reb finish here and now.
And now you listening, I'ma tell you something fascinating. They spinning woke bastardize it and appropriate it. Last I recall, woke was something we created. Speak truth to power. Keep an eye out for you silly racists. And now they use it to describe anything they threaten by? Remember when Gambino put in the zeitgeist? It was all
Wait. And now they use it to describe anything they threaten by. I'm sorry, but Amandala, your people are the ones that are using it to describe anybody that doesn't agree 100% with what you do and say you're the greatest thing in the world. Not the people that don't like it. Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
All about people recognizing bigotry, the power of
Hi,
community,
Albrecht.
not
Welcome to the
fodder
horror
for your
show.
clickbait. So basically, she's saying that Star Wars fans have appropriated the term woke, which is like posting your own L's. Like, that's embarrassing that you allowed someone to take that away. Honestly, if you're mad about people taking the term woke and using it to describe a bunch of DEI nonsense, that's on you, because wokeism has claimed all these things as their own, and they've gone off the rails with it and offended and annoyed people for years and years and years. And now people are using woke to label things like this, songs like this, actresses like this, shows like The Acolyte, and so on and so forth. You did this to
Yeah.
yourselves. But continuing on, she says this: speaking of which, journalists, I'm looking at you. Did you forget it's your job to provide the truth? Spreading divisiveness, mining the metrics and date. Seeing you gave up all your ethics for money and views, I can tell that the people are tired. So right here she's going after journalists, which is hilarious. Journalists catching owls is always funny, but it's extra funny in this situation because the only people backing this actress and the acolyte are journalists. They're the only ones fighting for her. They basically have a humiliation fetish, right? They're making articles getting clowned on by everyone, and then the person they're doing it for tells them it's not good enough. It's absolutely hilarious. But she continues on saying this: and the kids don't trust anything that they view. We can learn something from their discernment. The future's coming, and it's always the youth. Yeah, how do you do, fellow kids? Please watch The Acolyte. Here's the problem. This statement about the kids don't trust anything that they view. Look at Zoomers and Gen Alpha and all of that. They believe everything they see, dude. Like, they
Yeah,
think
no
TikTok
kidding.
is like a verified news source, like a random person on TikTok, and they believe it as fact. They believe
Yeah.
everything they see. Just look at Twitter and how people believe absolute nonsense every single day just because they want to agree with it, so therefore
Yeah, I mean, think about how many people get canceled on almost a daily basis, where somebody just out of pocket says so and so is a PDF or is a racist or whatever. Like, just out of pocket, they say this, no evidence. And how many people just jump on that bandwagon and try to cancel the target because somebody just happened to come out and say, oh, yeah, I've got proof. Like, yeah, it's this is all about, like, we're seeing a reverse of what it is we're seeing a reverse of like the 19th the 19 like 30s 1940s. We're seeing a reverse of what Martin Luther King fought for. Martin Luther King fought for equality. He fought against racism. And now the very people that achieved that equality now want inequality where they are in power. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing we're seeing these people try and pull the Uno reverse card with a shit ton of white people playing the white guilt card or the white savior card and backing them up 100%. No, what they're trying to do, Tysell, is they're trying to reverse it. They're basically trying to reverse it effectively so that white people, in particular white men, do not have the same rights as everyone else. They are basically, it's an attempt to essentially make Caucasian a minority race. Is the That's the feeling that this has. Because hence why you've got people saying you can't be racist to white people. Is they are trying to is like people like this are trying to make, excuse me, uh they are trying to basically make Caucasian a minority versus everyone else. Yes, Dusty. We talked about it.
they don't question it. Like, yeah, this is completely out of touch. But anyways, you can see, right? There's a big divide right now, and you can see in that music video, in the lyrics, and some of the reaction to the Acolyte on Twitter, there's a divide right now. The new Star Wars fans versus the old ones. And just
Yeah.
like other mediums, like anime, for example, there was a big clash between old and new. And with anime, for example, in the last couple of years since COVID, a lot of people have joined in, and those new anime fans are trying to oust the old anime fans from their own medium and hobby and try to change everything to their own will. And that's what's happening
Yeah.
with Star Wars and the Acolyte. So here's one of the responses on Twitter trying to prop up Star Wars the Acolyte. This user says, "Holy shit, man. If you're 60 years old and crying go woke, go broke about effing Star Wars, you need to get laid or preferably punched in the mouth. I don't know." So basically, this is like achieving a woke Twitter bingo card right here. So dismissing all of their opponents as boomers, also saying that you need to get laid, and also threatening physical violence if you have a differing opinion about a franchise. And also on that threat, like, shiver me timbers. Yeah, everyone's shaking in their boots about that threat coming from you, dude.
Remember the last Twitter warrior who said, "Come fight me, bitch"? And what happened with that? Miss, yeah, I'm tough. I work out. I'll fight anybody that disagrees with me. And the second, two people, actually more, step up and say, let's go. She's like, no, 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 I'm sorry. I can't do it. I was only kidding. It's not real. I'm sorry. Oh, she backed down so hard. It was hilarious. Yep.
But anyways, here's one of the most
Oh no, Tysel, it was more than two people, but there was two women of note that challenged her that she instantly backed down from one of them, and the other one she didn't even respond to. The second one was Mara Jade. Well, at least that's her Twitter handle, was Mara Jade, because all she did was she said, "I challenge accepted," and posted her like 2 or 3 judo championship trophies and said, "Cool, let's go," and she never even responded to her. No, Melanie Mac. It wasn't Melanie Mac. Alyssa Mercante tried to get people to send her dirt on Melanie Mac. That may be what you're thinking of. But people actually that challenged her was Vera Dark, who is like a YouTuber. I really don't know much about her other than she's a YouTuber. And then Mara Jade OG, who is like a 3-time judo champion. And Alyssa did not even respond to her. And mostly got random. Thank you so much for the follow. I hope you're enjoying yourself.
most liked reply saying Disney is woke, they discriminate white men, and it's pretty obvious. And that's a claim a lot of people have been assuming for some time now, but now we have some actual documentation on that. So here is a video from James O'Keefe. They got some amazing footage and quotes from the senior vice president at the Walt Disney Company. Now, I'll put a link to this video in the description. It's kind of a long one, but there's several quotes coming from this that are very, very telling. So here's one of the quotes saying, "Nobody else is going to tell you this, but they're not considering any white males for the job. There's no way we're hiring a white male." And going beyond that,
Tysel, thank you for the 3 gifted.
3 subscriptions to the community.
Thank you for the 3 gifted, Tysel. Thank you so much. And yeah, Potato, he's hiding because he's gonna get fired. They're gonna fire his ass now.
he admits Disney gives bonuses to executives for practicing diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, agreeing that diversity helps with financial incentives, and they further claim that he's
and
been
by the way,
denied
anybody that just got gifted to sub from Tysel, please say thank you.
Part 2 on this coming out as well. This whole thing is absolutely crazy, but not shocking in the slightest.
I don't know
honestly,
if he
the way
didn't.
Acolyte
It's
is
incoming,
going
I
right
guarantee
now,
it.
and the way that it's already demonstrated, its intentional pursuit of DEI initiatives is very telling, but not surprising in the slightest. But overall, this show has been an absolute nightmare, and people can cope all they want on Twitter. The audience hates this, and for good reason. It's not a good show, and it's woke. It's both things at the same time. Both things can be true at the same time, and it makes for a very bad product and one that people are not going to enjoy. But for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, I don't know if that man got fired, after giving that interview, but if he hasn't been, it's incoming. You can bet on that.